Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're talking about another impact wrench from Makita. This right here is a high torque impact wrench, 3/4 inch drive with friction ring on the XGT 40V Max platform. And this is the high torque model, all right? So we're gonna go over this tool top to bottom, see how it stands up against other tools we've tested so far, and see if how much high torque really delivers on, construction applications compared to, let's say, other mid-torque impact wrench that we've already reviewed so far on this Makita XGT platform. So you don't want to miss this. Stick with us. All right, you guys, so this right here is the model number GWT01. The one that we reviewed earlier, the mid-torque model, was GWT07 and 08, depending on which model you get, friction ring or pin detent. But this one right here is GWT01. If you buy it as a kit, it's like D or M1 or something like that. We'll put that right up in the description. And then if you buy it as a tool only, it's GWT01. You can buy it as a kit. If you buy it as a kit, it comes with two 2.5 amp hour batteries like we talked about in the previous video, but we bought this one as a tool only. So let's go ahead and see into the marketing hype before we really get into it. So this right here is Makita 40V Max XGT brushless 4-speed high torque 3/4 inch square drive impact wrench with friction ring anvil, and it provides improved fastening control, ideal for automotive installation and fabrication trades. The Makita-built brushless motor delivers 1,510 foot-pounds of nut busting torque and 1,330 foot-pounds of fastening torque to outpower similar impact wrenches in heavy load applications. It has precise fastening control achieved through 4-speed selection switch, which accounts for a wide range of applications. 3 forward and 3 reverse auto stop modes for increased efficiency when fastener is adequately loosened. The full speed mode reduces trigger pull to reach full speed. The GWT01Z features the extreme protection technology, as almost all the XPT stuff does, or XGT stuff does, with the XPT technology, and it is delivering outpower, outsmart, and outlast technology. It has 70% more fastening torque compared to the GWT0708, which we reviewed earlier. The 4-speed mode selection switch allows it to achieve a maximum RPM of 1,800 and a maximum IPM of 2,500. It's compact in length at only 8.5 inches to let you fit in the really tight spaces. It is ultra smooth, and I'm reading this directly from the marketing material. Ultra smooth, a variable speed trigger to provide optimum control. It has reinforced gear housing, flexible joints to reduce the wear on the battery contacts, dual LEDs, not 2 LEDs, but also 2 LEDs in 2 locations. 2 LEDs below the anvil and another 2 LEDs right where the control mechanism is to allow illumination in low light situations. The XGT digital stuff provides sustained 2 times sustained power under heavy applications. It has all the standard XGT stuff with multi-material, constant power, all this stuff with rigid rails, and all the XGT stuff with charging and battery and tool technology communications. It comes with a 3-year limited lifetime warranty, or 3-year limited warranty, and the weight of the tool, allegedly on paper with a 2.5 amp hour battery, is 8.6 pounds. All right, so let's get into this. That was pretty quick. We're going to go over some of this stuff really fast. Obviously, this part right here is the rafter hook, or a belt hook, whatever you want to call it. We call it rafter hook because we use it on rafters. It is reversible. The thing about this rafter hook is just look how big it is in terms of the spacing. And this rafter hook is secured in place with 2 screws, and it is reversible to the other side in case you needed to put it on that side, okay? All this black stuff here is standard rubber overmold, just like as you would expect, with Makita tools. And holding it, you can know it's a Makita tool. I mean, even if you're blindfolded, you would know this is a Makita tool. It's got this, standard XGT stuff where it's like a gunmetal type gray, and not too much other stuff going on here besides the obvious. It's got this decoupled tool versus the battery components, right? So as it's impacting, there's a lot of force being, or recoil, let's say, and a lot of vibration. So this helps reduce the vibrations from the tool to the rest of the battery and control interface. So that's what's going on there. Forward reverse switch is obviously here, and it's going to say brushless here, and it'll also say brushless right on the back, just in case you didn't know it was brushless. So moving on to the back, it's got, it's pretty flat. There's no lanyard fall rest type system here. You would just hook it into this if you wanted to here. I would imagine if you're using it for automotive reasons, you're probably going to take this off because this is going to get in the way, right? So back is pretty straight on the right side. pretty straight as the other side, except the only real difference is it will say XGT here, but it just won't be red like it will say right here, right? So this part right here, XGT is red, it doesn't say brushless. On this side, it'll say XGT, but it will say brushless. The XGT is just not red, so just nitpicking. All right, so let's talk about the other stuff going on here. So as I mentioned, this tool has LEDs in 2 places. Let's go ahead and turn the LED lights on. So actually probably messing up the camera. So there's LEDs located right here, right? There's 2 LEDs right here and also another 2 LEDs right here. So for light illumination of your workpiece, there's 4 LEDs doing it, but it's 2 in 2 different locations. So that's what's really there to take away from it. And we'll go ahead and show you the variable speed trigger because it generally works pretty well. Let's turn full speed mode off, right? So here is mode 4, right? Here we go. Right? Let's go to mode 3. Mode 2. Mode 1. All right, so the variable speed trigger is actually really good. They did say it was ultra smooth, and I completely agree with that, okay? So we'll bring you closer and take a better look at the control panel, but before we do that, while we have you in shot here, let's go ahead and talk about this full speed mode. So this tool, like the other tool, GWT01, the 08, and other tools we may have reviewed earlier, has a mode called full speed mode. Since we're talking about variable speed, let's talk about that. So in order to engage it, you press this mode button until a blue LED light illuminates there. And then that means you're in full speed mode. What does that mean? It pretty much reduces, if you want to talk about automotive way, like throttle response, or increases throttle response, let's say. So you can get to maximum speed without as much pull on the variable speed trigger. So it's generally around like somewhere between 25–30% pull, you'll be at full speed. But here, I'll just go ahead and show you. So full speed mode on, here we go, watch this. Right? So let's take that with full speed mode off. Here we go, watch this. So full speed mode, oops, sorry. Full speed mode on mode 4. Man, here we go. So if you think about it that way, there's mainly like 2 stages, like low and then you're at full speed. Watch this again. Right? So, you know, it's there. It's nice that it's there. If you use it, great, but I can't really imagine too many people having a problem with going from, you know, let's say 1/4 of an inch to like 1/2 inch to reach full speed. But, you know, it is another mode they added on there. So let's go take a better look at the user interface. All right, so this is the user interface right here, and there's 4 modes, right? So 4 is what they call max. It does maximum up to 2,500 blows per minute, or IPMs. This is pretty much the highest power mode you could run on. And then there's mode 3, which is hard, which is 2,400 IPMs. Mode 2, which they call medium, which is 2,200 IPMs. And then mode 1, which is what they call soft, which is around 1,900 IPMs, okay? And you can cycle through that pretty easily. So now let's talk about this light, since it's right next to it, okay? So right now, as you can see, as I'm pulling the trigger, no light. And if you want to turn the light on, you press the button, and now you have both lights on, okay? And it will stay on, and, you know, it'll all turn off and that kind of stuff as you're not using it. But, you know, for sake purposes of filming, let's go ahead and turn that off. So you just do that, okay? Now let's talk about the mode right here. So this mode right here with the little RPM looking thing is pretty much full speed mode, and you know that that's on by with this blue LED. In order to turn that off, just hold this mode button until it turns off, okay? So this mode button is also multifunctional because you can press the mode button again, and it will light up right here with this bolt looking icon. And what that really means is you are in bolt mode. So directly from the manual, what does that mean? If you're in bolt mode, this mode helps repeat screw driving continuously with equal torque. This mode also helps reduce the amount of breakage, or reduce the risk of breakage on nuts and bolts due to over tightening. Counterclockwise, this mode helps prevent a bolt from falling off when loosened. A bolt and the tool with driving counterclockwise rotation, the tool automatically stops or slows down after the bolt and nut gets loosened. What does that mean in layman's terms? Layman's terms means depending on which mode you're in, it'll stop impacting it'll stop impacting as soon as it starts, like a couple seconds later. And then in a reverse mode, it'll stop when it stops impacting. So think about it in terms of you're driving something, as it starts impacting, it's gonna stop, right? Because you don't want to over tighten it. And then if you're in reverse mode, as it stops impacting, it's gonna stop because this doesn't want the nut or bolt or whatever to just fly off and fly across the room, right? So let's talk about that just a little bit, okay? So let's go back to mode 1. Bolt mode. In mode 1, the impact force is 4, right, in terms of clockwise mode, taking something off, and it will stop as soon as it has stopped impacting in terms of reverse mode, right? And in mode 1, it will stop as soon as it starts impacting in clockwise mode, okay? So let's talk about mode 2, and we'll say that a little bit differently. Hopefully it'll help clear it up. In mode 2, in clockwise mode, so fastening, it's gonna stop half a second after it starts impacting, and in reverse, it'll stop impacting 0.2 seconds after the tool has stopped impacting, okay? Well, that's confusing. And now let's go to mode 3. In mode 3, and you're driving something in, it's gonna stop about 1 second after it starts impacting. And on mode reverse, the tool is gonna stop impacting immediately. It doesn't say like 0.1 seconds, 0.2, it just says immediately. And that's pretty much what that really means. So the other thing, as we talked about here, in mode, or with bolt mode, you can also use bolt mode with full speed mode, which actually makes it even more confusing if you really want to drill into it. But I guarantee you, as you use it, it'll start making more sense. But if you're just in a situation where you just need to take on and off bolts and nuts and stuff like that, you probably don't care as much, right? So, but I could kind of see it being useful somewhere in a way where you really don't want to drop something, right? Because it's going to either fall down a hole or some crevice that you can't get to. So there is that, all right? All right, you guys, so let's get into the numbers. So just in case you haven't been watching the entire series, let's go ahead and just take a quick intro of the test. So yes, the test that we do is fastening tests, and we're talking about timber locks, bolts, and stuff like that. And I understand that's not the way most people are going to use this tool, or maybe some people aren't going to use the tool that way. People may use it for automotive mechanics and other mechanical stuff like that, but we actually use it for construction type of material, so that's what really matters to us. And I'm going to go ahead and say the margin of error here, I'm just accounting for maybe about 2 to 3 seconds, mainly because we're talking about KD lumber, it's all glue laminated together, and we have no idea what's in the middle and all kinds of fun stuff, and user could be erroring, all kinds of stuff could be erroring, right? But 2 to 3 seconds, it's not really going to matter, even in the terms of a day of a job site, let's just say, right? So just take that with the grain of salt, because, you know, the margin of error and stuff like that is, we try to get as precise as possible, but, you know, there's always that. So we run 3 tests, light duty, medium duty, heavy duty, and we run 4 runs in each test, and then we take the average. We're actually only taking an average of 3, throwing out the one that is way out of the standard deviation, assuming there even is one. And if there isn't, we just take the 3 best numbers, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at this, right? So the GWT01, we ran with a 2.5 amp hour battery, light duty test 3.44, medium duty test 2.83, heavy duty test 8.58. 2.5 amp hour battery and tool combination weighs a whopping 8.7 pounds, all right? Moving on to the 4 amp hour battery. So with the 4 amp hour battery, light duty test 3.41, medium duty test 2.74, heavy duty test 7.94, and that battery and tool combination weighs a whopping 9.36 pounds. For all you kilogram people out there, that's around 4.24 kilograms. So then we move on to the big 8 amp hour battery. So light duty test 8-inch timber lock 3.34, medium duty 2.75, heavy duty 8.30. All right, so that battery and tool combination will weigh a whopping 11.35 pounds. And for the kilogram people out there, that's 5.15 kilos. That is not a light tool, all right? So let's take a look at the sum of the averages, which is how we get the total performance number. Let's throw it up on the screen all at once. So 2.5 amp hour battery total performance score is 14.86, which puts it in 3rd place. The 4 amp hour battery with the total score of 14.09 puts it in 1st place. And then the tool with 8 amp hour battery, it was 14.39, puts it in 2nd place, all right? So this tool, regardless of which battery you use, takes 1st place, beating out the Makita HBT WR36DA, which is the multi-volt 36-volt high torque impact wrench with a 3/4 inch drive, which had a previous score of 15.53. And then that beat out the high torque Bosch Pro Factor impact wrench, which is the GDS ATV-740N. But that one was a 1/2 inch drive, which was 16.99. So those are the 3 high torque impact wrenches, okay? So let's go throw all the numbers up, and we'll just drill into it for just a little bit, all right? So the 2.5 amp hour battery, actually, let's just go look at the light duty test, right? So we're talking 3.44 versus 3.41 for the 4 amp hour and 3.34 for the 8 amp hour. That's pretty much the same number. That's let's just say margin of error or not, that's just pretty much the same number, okay? Medium duty test, 2.83, 2.74, 2.75. That's really close, all to the same numbers. Let's just say that's the same numbers. If you want to argue, yes, the 4 and the 8 did a little bit better than the 2, but, you know, all margin of error. Heavy duty test, 8.58 versus 7.94 versus 8.30. There's a little bit of variance there. The 8.58 and the 8.30 is, you know, pretty close. Let's just say almost 0.3 away versus the 7.94, right? 7.94 and 7.30, that's like, what, 0.36 numbers of difference, all within the margin of error. It's all the same number. The thing I'm trying to really point out here is that regardless of whichever battery you use, the performance is pretty much going to be the same, okay? That's what really matters, and that's what we're really trying to convey here, mainly because it really doesn't matter, and obviously that kind of shows. So it may matter in some certain applications if you are using it for certain things, like, you know, nut busting torque of like something that's super rusted on or something like that, right? Yeah, that may matter, but we're splitting hairs here, okay? So let's go take a look at the leaderboard and go talk about those numbers, right? So the GWT01 in the 1st place, let's just say 14.09 versus the Makita HBT WR36DA with the 4 amp hour battery, 15.53. So we're talking about 3.41 versus 3.29. Makita was just a little bit faster. We're talking about where it starts to, you know, really start to make a difference, which is medium duty, because there's actually more impact and stuff like that involved. So 2.74 versus 3.25 for the Metabo. And then the heavy duty test is, you know, where impact says, let's get to work. 7.94 for the 4 amp hour, and then 8.99 for the Metabo, and then 9.61 for the Bosch. And those are the high torque impact wrenches. So as you would imagine, the high torque impact wrenches are at the top of the leaderboard, as like I said, you would imagine, because it delivers more power. So the other thing about high torque impact wrenches are, if you look at the leaderboard, the entire screen, let's just say, the high torque impact wrenches, because there's so much more mass, I'm assuming the RPMs are going to be slower than mid torque or light torque, let's just say, all right? And the RPMs will be somewhere around 25 to 2900 or 600 or somewhere around there, right? So the smaller mid torque and stuff like that will have faster RPMs and faster IPMs, and in like fastening applications, that may make a difference in the long run, right? But the tool is actually going to be working harder in a way, because there's so much more impact and stuff like that happening, which is kind of how the Milwaukee 2962 Gen 2 can almost keep up, right, in delivering this kind of stuff, right? Like I mentioned earlier, this type of test is not traditionally what people may always use impact wrenches for, but in our case, this is what we use it for. And we may once in a while use it for something else, but this is generally our use case. So what can we say about the tool? So we did buy this tool, and we bought this tool with our own monies, and that was a little bit painful, mainly because this tool is not cheap. What I mean by that is with the tool only, I believe it's somewhere around like 440, 450, somewhere around there. And with the tool and two 2.5 amp hour batteries, charger, and a bag and stuff like that, we're talking about $650. That is not a cheap high torque impact wrench. If you watched the video, the high torque impact wrench episode before this, you know we bought the Metabo WR36DA, which is the high torque one, same 3/4 inch drive with a 4 amp hour battery and a charger for $250, right? You could buy two and have money left over to do other stuff than just buying one of those. So there is a premium with that. As most people know, there's a premium with Makita tools. So if you're gonna ask me the question, would I go out and buy this tool again? Personally, right now, at this moment, no. Mainly for me, mainly because we have other battery platforms we can buy the tools in, like the Metabo platform, for significantly less, so I wouldn't go buy it again. Do I regret the purchase of buying this tool? Most definitely not. One thing I can say about this tool versus the Metabo is just using it. This one definitely feels smoother and more refined. The Metabo, don't get me wrong, that feels smooth and refined too, but this has another layer of just like ultra silky smoothness to it, right? Also, this tool, the battery part is decoupled, and if you watch, or if you're looking at the tool as you're using it, you can see that it does help the tool in terms of probably longevity, even though this is only a 3-year warranty and the Metabo HBT one is a lifetime warranty. So that's probably another reason why you may want to go buy that. The other thing to note on here is we didn't tell you doing it here, but talking about the battery parts, I thought about it. This actually has the battery rails are metal here where it connects with the battery. So that combined with it being decoupled, I don't have any questions about the longevity of this tool, right? Things like that's gonna break. But to answer the question, go buy it again? Probably not, because it's just really ridiculously expensive. If you need the features of, you know, the lights and boat mode and all that kind of stuff, and you want that, then yeah, definitely go buy it. If you're only in this platform, go buy it. You know, it doesn't really matter to me which one you buy or not. Like I said, this video is not sponsored, not related to anybody in any case. So there is that. The other thing that point out, as we point out in that video, is this is a 3/4 inch drive, and the sockets we've been using for our tests are 1/2 inch drive. So we did have to use socket adapters, and most people know that actually does, you know, impact the numbers. There's some torque loss in that manner. But even with that being used, it's still taking first place on the leaderboard regardless of battery. So take that, socket adapters. I don't even know. Anyways, it's a great tool. If you need it, go buy it. If not, then don't buy it. You know, there's that. So hope this video helped you guys out. Hopefully, you know, it's the numbers and stuff are just out there. Just go get a tool to do the job and just do good work. It really doesn't matter, okay? So hopefully it helped you guys out. Get back to work. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.